According to Mythos, 100% of you are subscribed. Good job.
Hello. How's it going? Welcome to the next part of the series. We're going to be going over the lore of every single equation that can be found within the Protean Hero. In this particular video, we're going to be going over the equations of Nihility, which is one of the equations that had me very intrigued, I'm not gonna lie, in particular because Nihility is closely related to Thanatos, the Titan of Death. I wanted to leave this one for last because at the current patch that we were in, Castorice had just released and there was a lot of lore that was going on that I wanted to see if I could uncover throughout these equations without spoiling anything about the new storyline. And well, I didn't really get to uncover too much. I did like that some of these things were references to the main story that had happened. There's mentions about Aidonia, there's mentions about the Maiden of War, and there's also mentions about how people were worried about why or how Thanatos had disappeared, like what happened to them, and just like the general concern of people not only seeing just the fact that the Black Tide was encroaching and being really concerning, but also that death was not really happening, making things that much worse. So yeah, with all that being said, I'm eager for you guys to see the lore behind the equations, and let's get on right with them. Bone Planter. Do you know Pathestion of Inopus? Poor warrior. That expedition consumed his soul, leaving no space even for tears. He was such a proud man. Mnestia's prophecy foretold that he would avenge his father in golden armor and wed the unvanquishable war maiden. Yet, upon his return, the pack on his shoulders, laden with bones, emitted a haunting rattle. The man never slept after his return, silently sowing the shattered bones into the fields. He guarded them night and day, awaiting the harvest. He painted a vivid picture of that beautiful scene for me, but I scurried away in a haste. Much like the alchemy practiced in Nusporism, soil and soul are attached to bones. Perhaps he truly could grow something from them. Okay, two things real quick. The first one, it's incredibly creepy that this individual could potentially grow things from the bones of his dead comrades. I don't want zombies in Amphorius. The second one though is, my brother in Christ was told you are going to marry Castorice. What the fuck, Mnestia? I feel like he didn't even know, probably, about everything that happened, and he was told a prophecy by the gods, or well, titans in this case, so I can understand why he would believe it. But, oh, that is just so sad. Homie had no shot. Grim Pilgrim. Beware of those fanatics, the monsters I caught a glimpse of on the trails of Hattusili. Their grimy daggers are smeared with foul blood, and their unsteady eyes reflect only a void. They are undoubtedly the unhallowed spawn of golden blood and dark mist, devoid of sanity since birth. Otherwise, how could they assemble in crowds, sacrificing living beings to the realm of death? They falsely declare that the mortal realm has turned into a hellscape, dooming all to a life of unhappiness from the moment of birth. Our true sanctuary lies only in the land where flowers bloom at the end of the west wind. When the last living being cease to exist in this world, all souls will find within the divine realm of death a return to the endless golden age. I have no clue where they are now. Perhaps they've already set sail on their voyage to the nether realm. I really love how this equation mentions that gigantic flower bed that Castorice and Pollux have been creating in the land of the dead. That is incredibly beautiful, but what it really caught my attention for a moment is that mention of a return to the endless golden age, which feels like it might be supporting that whole concept. Like there's a theory about like an amphorious loop, and seeing that little part of like when everyone dies we will return to the golden age, I don't know, it just makes my brain overthink a bit. Passenger of the River of Souls. Let me tell you a terrifying nightmare, souls that wander lost in the Netherrealm. As death floods the plains, and the River of Souls drowns the mortal realm, the water that should divide life and death now echoes with the calls of ferrymen. The deceased who walk toward you smiles like a chill that cuts into your bones. As the eternal night shrouds the sky, the deceased spirits walk into the dream of a city-state. Come with us to the end of the west wind. Come with us, board their wooden ships. And soon, the river silently swallows another piece of land. Can the dead tempt the living into their realm? Or is this merely a sweet dream on the verge of death? Leave this place now, lost poet. Do not believe in those whispers, and never look back. Okay, this is really interesting. Because this equation is essentially telling me that the dead can just yoink and kidnap people from the mortal realm, not necessarily by actually grabbing them and taking them with them, but just by tempting them into the realm, which is really terrifying. But what I love about this equation a lot is the last part where it says, leave this place now, poet. Do not believe in those whispers and never look back, because I think that is a reference to Orpheus. Society of Disappointment. I am the last member and survivor of our society. In Amphorius, we were the foremost experts on the Titans, having mastered the 12 rituals and ceremonies of worship. But the Golden Age has long crumbled into dust. If they indeed forged our world, why did the creator Janus lose their core flame first? The gods we once worshipped have not died. So what purpose does our praise serve? All my life's learning and pursuits have proven to be mere illusions. We once saw the flame chase as a rational means of salvation, and our voices can still be heard even in the countless schemes to slay the gods. Yet, the scars on the land that ravaged life is evidence of Georgios' fall. I admit our error, but the ultimate despair lies in the realization that perhaps there never was a right path in this world. You know, I really do feel bad for this individual because this is, like he said, his life's like work and everything he believed in just crumbling to the ground, making him feel like he wasted his time. That is just sad. Book burning bureaucrat. Please, take this unique manuscript with you wherever your travels lead. Forgive my abrupt request, but time is running out. Those cultural tramplers dressed in red are racing towards us on their chariots. They claim to be emissaries of Circes, but all they do is destroy culture. They acknowledge the value of knowledge, but deny the significance of seeking it. They ravage libraries and loot ancient tomes, not even sparing even children's primer books from their ruthless grasp. If you can, please make your way to the Grove of Epiphany, where sages stand to uphold the truth. You ask, why don't I go myself? I've come to realize that arguing with those psychos is a fruitless endeavor. Give me a sword. I'll fight till the end for the cause of progress. Executor. Ah, the ground groans beneath the scratch of metal. A clangorous sound that sends shivers down hyenas' spines. Yet to me, it resonates like divine harmony within my very being. Or rather, my decaying husk. Half a month has passed since the fierce battle. My flesh has rotted, my veins are dry. I linger on this battlefield waiting, longing to return to my ultimate resting place, the realm of death. I lie among the mountain of corpses, wondering when Aidonia's executioner will make their appearance. I stand by the river of souls waiting, praying for the safety of my soul. And then, at long last, the voice echoes in my ears. My hollow eye sockets see the scythe that signifies my eternal rest, and the compassionate gaze of a maiden. Thanatos, my great god, I have felt the gentle touch of your hand. Okay, this one's pretty disturbing just by the idea of having this singular soldier being left behind to quote unquote die. Like, he has already died, but he cannot pass on. So he has just been there, existing, suffering. And this happened in Aidonia. So this is someone that like got brutalized by the Flame Reaver.
Huh?
Like, oh my god. I do have to say, I do like that they mentioned the gentle touch of death, which seems like a very amazing reference to Castorice now becoming the Titan of Death. One buried at sea. Burn my remains to ashes and put them in a bottle. Inscribe playful words upon it, then throw it into the sea. Shed no tears at my funeral, for Fagusa would only laugh at your grief. Don't blame my untimely demise, as I merely wish to get to my final resting place sooner. I rode the waves while I lived, and now in death I shall drift along with the ocean currents. My only concern is how to secure an audience with Fagusa. If I come empty-handed, they'll surely scorn me. But I was born with nothing, so there's nothing I can take with me. Luckily, I've crafted a brilliant joke, my masterpiece. I'll share it with Fagusa as a gift upon our meeting. If you see the waves roaring, it's a sign that they were pleased. Growth Ring Carver. I understand you detest the conduct of the engravers, but please allow me to plead on their behalf. Heroes set out with lofty aspirations only to return to a world of desolation. They witnessed friends consumed by tsunamis and monsters piercing the chests of their kin. In their hearts, all that remains is helplessness and despair. Trees record history through their rings, while engravers etch the past out of empathy and aspiration. In their stories, aging heroes never embark on their expeditions. Lost friends either return or were merely on a long journey. The collapsed city still stood, sheltering bewildered elders and children speaking the language of their homeland. Through lies, they craft a fleeting dream for heroes trapped in the past. Absurd as it may seem, it is indispensable for this era. Okay, this one is incredibly depressing, especially given what we have seen in other equations. The concept of a hero leaving their hometown and returning to nothing is already depressing, but now the fact that there are these entities that recreate everything just so that the heroes can go back home to a quote-unquote home that still exists is even more heartbreaking. Like, I can see why they do this, like out of empathy and of like wanting to see things in a brighter light, but at the same time, like, my god, this is depressing. Whispering Woods. Please listen to our story. A story about the last scholars of Vitus. Do not mock us for our cowardice, for before we fled, we raised our weapons. But our mentor fell in a pool of blood over a scroll. Our brothers perished defending the city gates, their bodies never found. Don't look at us that way. It happened even before the Black Tide came. What's the difference? The Black Tide, the conflicts, and the city-states of the era Chrysia. Extinct civilizations took stories with them, but knowledge endures. We swallowed the whispered words of Circe. Our bones transformed into trees, our flesh into new leaves. The wisdom once nurtured by Vitus all bore fruit on our branches. Pick this seed and let it sprout somewhere far away. 1,000 years from now, scholars will still uncover the proof we have left behind. Okay, this one has me a little bit confused because that concept of turning into vegetation sounds like the White Dryad, but it also does have the concepts of Circe's, because if I recall correctly, there's an illustration at Dawn Cloud which shows Circe's being a tree with their knowledge being expanded through their leaves, and this is literally just that as well. So, Death's Miracle. This is a nihilistic past inscribed on a stone tablet. This is the trace of Thanatos, the Hand of Shadow. No one had ever truly seen Thanatos. All descriptions of them were either fabrications or fragments of a dream. Poets claimed that souls were the foundation of all things. They were carried to the farthest reaches of the west wind, transforming into fine rain that descended towards the afterlife. Thus, with life came death, and in between, the unchanging souls flowed. But since the black tide swept across the land, death had long eclipsed life. The souls wandering along the banks of the River of Souls had lost their destination, with fewer and fewer of them returning to this world. Emptiness bred deceit, and death nurtured fear. Had Thanatos too been corroded by the black tide? Had they been driven mad and no longer ferried souls? Or, as the most pessimistic fools feared, had the god of death long perished in silence? I really enjoy this equation. I feel like the way that it describes the story and how we learn about it is really cool, specifically how they mentioned the whole concept of life and death flowing like a stream, being a constant cycle, was very, very cool. And I like how they mentioned, oh, the black tide arrived and it disrupted this flow to the point that deaths were so much higher than people being born, and it caused a lot of problems to the point that people started believing that something went wrong with Thanatos. And it also just happens to be that, yes, Thanatos was actually also having troubles on their own end. Like, in the perspective of people, people needed an explanation as to why Thanatos had disappeared or nobody could find them or why they were so inactive. And people started believing that they got corroded, that they had gone insane like Nikador, and even people started believing that, that they might be dead. At the end of the day, none of them were true, but it was still really cool to see how the perspective of the people of Amphorius was during that time. So yeah, with that, we have gone over the lore of not only every single equation in the path of Nihility in the Protean Hero, but every single equation itself, ending up this series until tomorrow, because tomorrow we're getting the new expansion of the Divergent universe, And we're getting more equations that I'm gonna be covering eventually. I know I have been a little bit too inconsistent with my upload schedule. I had to move to a new place and a lot of like different shenanigans. I got lazy, I'm not gonna deny that, but I will admit that one of the things that I was doing during this time off was I was focusing a lot on myself. I was focusing on losing weight. I had mentioned actually that I went from 97 kilograms now to 83, and I'm feeling amazing. I'm genuinely so much happier. I feel a lot more energetic, and to a certain extent, I do want to keep focusing on this, and I will be making a return properly to making videos and making, again, live streaming. I've been tinkering with OBS again, which feels weird to say, because I legitimately got burnt out of it, but now I want to go back into it. So, yeah, expect more in the future. I'm not sure when exactly. I'm going to try to be consistent again, if time does allow me to do so. But I just want to give you guys a little bit of an update in that regard. I miss you all. You all are absolutely great. And I will be replying to all the comments that I haven't responded to in a while. I did take pride in replying to every single comment. I feel bad I haven't been replying to those comments. I will be going back to them as soon as I upload this video. So, yeah, I wish you all a great rest of your day, night, morning, whatever time zone you're currently watching this video at. And I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.